Jesus got himself in a little trouble there, huh? The first time you read it, if you don't really have a sense for what's going on, it just seems weird. Like Jesus reads some scripture, and then they're like, oh yeah, that was really good. What a guy. And then somebody goes, wait, isn't that the carpenter's son? And then Jesus gets kind of, maybe not argumentative, but he gets kind of a, what's the word I want to use here? What? Gets a bee in his bonnet. I like that. Thanks, Phil. Gets a little ticked. And then he tells two stories, and they decide they want to throw him off a cliff, which is impressive. That's they call that a heel face turn. You just go, wait a minute, getting whiplash from that. This is like the opposite of the Pentecost sermon. Have y'all know the Pentecost sermon? Peter and John are like, you wicked sinners, and everybody goes, oh my goodness, you got us. And Jesus is just telling two stories, and they're like, you need to die. But the stories are stories that have a message. Jesus has cherry-picked a couple of stories that are, because if you look at the rest of Scripture, it's mostly God doing good things for the people of God, but Jesus has cherry-picked these two stories about good things happening to people who are outside of the people of God, and they got real mad. Because Jesus has said that God cares about people who are not us, about other people, about people who maybe don't deserve to be cared for in the way that we do. Not because we're all beloved children of God, but because we are beloved children of God, and they were beloved children of God, but specifically the Jewish people, therefore deserving of God's favor more so than, well, the people of Sidon and definitely Naaman the Syrian. He was a bad dude. I don't have time to go into why Naaman the Syrian was a bad dude, but he was a bad dude. And he was leading an army that was full of bad dudes. Well, not bad dudes, but if you're in Israel, it sure looks like they're the bad dudes. Jesus got in trouble for the same reason that Bishop Marion Booty got in trouble about a week and a half ago. No, 2 weeks ago now, almost 2 weeks ago. Because she stood up and implied that God cares about people that certain folks who were hearing the sermon did not believe that God should be caring about. It got her in trouble. There's a, what do they call it? A House resolution that's gotten written to condemn the sermon. And a few folks have said that if they had gotten a House resolution condemning a sermon they wrote, they would frame it and hang it in their office. And I'm not sure that I would, but no, I would. I would frame it and hang it in my office. But that's the thing, that there's this idea that, that we're more deserving. And maybe to put it in context, this is Jesus saying basically the equivalent of, there were plenty of homeless veterans, but God chose to house a homeless illegal immigrant, and you can see now why they decided to try to push him off a cliff. It's this, well, but these are the people who deserve the good things, and yet good things are happening to other people. That is wrong. And we're seeing this happen again and again. These are the people who are deserving. And it's happening to Jesus too in this story, It's happening to Jesus. Because everybody, they think that they know about Jesus. They know who Jesus is. They don't know all of the fine details, but they know the things that are important. They know they watched him grow up. They know who his dad is. They know. They know everything that is important, they think, to know about who Jesus is. But they don't. And because of this, they try to shove him off a cliff. They think they know everything important to know about who Jesus is, and because they do, they try to shove him off a cliff. But what would have happened if they hadn't done that? What would have happened if they stopped, took a breath, held on for just a minute, and said, wait a minute, maybe we don't know everything that there is to know about this guy. Maybe there's more. What could have happened? What could have happened? What blessings did the people of Nazareth miss out on when the headline of the Nazareth News changed from local son makes good to local son gets too big for his britches? What could have happened? Might they have had the same things that happened in Capernaum happen in Nazareth? Maybe they could have learned something amazing from Jesus, but they didn't. But I wonder if a few days or a few weeks or a few months down the line, somebody, or many of them, found themselves laying awake at night in bed going, what was it about that made us decide that we wanted to throw him off a cliff? What is it in me that made me so mad that I needed to throw this person off a cliff? And maybe they went back and rewound and were able to think it through. And maybe the next time they thought that they knew everything about a person that they needed to know because, well, we know who his parents are, we know we saw him grow up, we know all the important things that we need to know to make a judgment call and decide that this person, not worth it. Maybe next time they did something different. And maybe next time we encounter someone that we think that we know everything that we need to know about the person standing in front of us or wherever they are, maybe we can stop and go, maybe there's more to this person than I think there is. Maybe they too are a beloved child of God. Maybe even though these outsiders, the people that I think don't deserve as much as I do, maybe it's okay for God to bless them because I've forgotten about all of the bazillion ways God has blessed me.